Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 19 from Logic to Living. And today is gonna be a special episode, at least for me. This is a very special moment to anchor in. So I'm also happy to do this live, not just for you to learn from my story, but also for me to anchor in this moment. Why this moment is so important for me is because it's really a full circle moment. Yeah, I am in Turkey right now, close to Side in a resort that I've been to about 4.5 years ago, so November 2021. And this is really where this whole journey began, where everything started, where I took the very first step. And it's just so special because thinking back to the person I was back then, the woman I was back then, and just me taking this first step, I couldn't have imagined that this would lead to, yeah, such a great chain of events and how this would all compound. Just a small step back then, now compounding into, such a different life now. So yeah, it's same place, same hotel, same view, but completely different woman. And it's just so beautiful to see what this work can do, how you can completely change your life. And sometimes in the day to day, we don't really see how far we've come and we get lost in what we still are working on and what we would like to change. But this is just really now a beautiful moment to anchor in when you really look back at certain events and then see the changes. And this is where my journey to a self-led woman really started. So today I want to take you on this journey with me and also show you what self-led woman means. It means that you don't wait for circumstances to change, but you make the first move. And however small that move may be, it doesn't matter because it will compound as long as you keep going, as long as you keep moving forward and not giving up. Yeah. Okay, so November 2021, this was the first time I was here with my now husband. And yeah, I remember we arrived here, the weather was great. But back then I felt completely exhausted, unhappy, drained, and I couldn't even enjoy the vacation really. Like we got here and I was still very agitated, and yeah, I couldn't really get into a relaxed, pleasant, joyful state even after a couple of days being here by the sea with a beautiful beach, good food. Um, yeah, and I had brought a book with me that's called How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole Pera, I think is her name. And I almost read the complete book, but it also had this one chapter titled You're Your Own Best Healer that really stood out to me. So I basically devoured this book in a vacation, and it really spoke to the situation that I was in back then, and it gave me really tangible steps what to do and how to do the work, how to become my own best healer. Because when I when I realized that even during a vacation, I don't get out of this exhausted and drained state, I realized that I didn't just need more rest, I needed a different life. And this was really the moment that I decided that I would change my life. And it started with small decisions like I'm gonna finish work at 6 p.m. no matter what. Even if people ask me to stay longer, even if they say things are urgent and whatnot, I promised myself I would stop at 6. I started journaling after every workday, what went good, what didn't go so well, how do I feel, what have I changed, and it's so interesting to now go back to these very first journal entries that I did back then and just reading through it. And I also decided that I would do breathing exercises every morning for 10 minutes, trying to stay calmer throughout the day, going for a walk. So kind of small shifts, but I was very committed and decided, yeah, very committed to the decision that I would change my life and that I would put everything into feeling better, really taking care of my well-being. Yeah, so in that moment, I really stopped waiting. Where I took control back of my own life instead of waiting for circumstances to change, or instead of, thinking that all I could do is making big outward decisions, like, quitting my job or something like that. Instead of thinking would have to be something big, I started with small things and taking back ownership and control over my decisions, my life, my time. And this is exactly what, being a self-led woman is about. You don't wait for circumstances to change. You don't wait for permission. You don't wait for other people to do the things for you, and you take action no matter what. And again, even if the action is small, it compounds and it will eventually lead you to being able to take bigger action. Because I would not have been able to just quit my job back then because I was just too scared. Yeah, I thought, and I was also still very much identified with it in that sense that, you know, my ego was kind of happy working as a research scientist for Amazon. So I started small, and from there I also started reading a lot more books about well-being, personal development, personal growth. I started picking up yoga again, which I already was very interested in the begin. So in my early 20s, when I was still studying and had the time, I did a lot of yoga. I also learned a lot about Ayurveda and cooked Ayurvedic food. But then when I started work, I I got so overwhelmed I didn't have time for right. I felt like I didn't have time for any of it, and I dropped it. And then after this decision, I picked those interests back up, and I dedicated time to it and nurtured these interests and these callings more again. Yeah, and it's really also not waiting, until certain things come true, like, maybe the kids are older until you feel ready, or savings are bigger, or until you're sure. You basically just trust yourself to make a move, and you trust yourself that you will figure it out, and that once you get going, things will become clearer. And that's exactly how it happened to me. I mean, I had no idea where this small decision and these small changes in my daily life, where they would lead me. Because one thing led to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And this is also what I talk about or what I mean when I talk about the compound effect, that these small actions compound. So this isn't a strategy. This is an identity. This is someone you become, someone you are. Yeah, so you trust your own inner knowing more than other people's opinions. This is an important one because I also remember when I made this decision, it wasn't, it didn't, it came at a cost to some extent. So I remember there was this one occasion where then again, I was asked to stay longer, even after 7. And I mean, I helped myself stay committed by booking yoga classes in the evening through Urban Sports. So basically, if you cancel way too short beforehand, I also would have to pay, um, yeah, a fine for not showing up, basically, and taking a place without showing up. So then doing these things helped me stay committed, even when people wanted me to work longer and stay for work. And I remember I said, no, I have to go have this class. And yeah, this woman that I was working with at that time, she was absolutely not happy about it. And yeah, I mean, there was a certain cost in the sense that people kind of knew I wasn't available for overtime anymore, which of course has an impact on your career growth or how fast you get promoted. But I was fine with that back then. So it's really about you decide and then you organize around your decision. You stay committed to your own values, to your own truth, no matter what other people think, expect, or want you to do. So you stop outsourcing your life to experts or partners or timing or fear. Oh yeah, experts is actually a good one because often also what we do is we think other people know better and we are looking for answers outside ourselves from other people, or now it's also AI. And back then I really started just working on my own inner knowing and listening to this inner voice again. So being guided by your own intuition or inner voice, which I now also believe is divine guidance. And actually, yeah, I'm in the process of planning a free event for end of May, which is called Co-Creation with the Divine, because hustling alone has the worst ROI, so return on invest. And this event will exactly be about meeting the version of you who already trusts itself and who moves from that trust, who is able to act on that trust, like I did back then in 2021, even when it was just small actions, that doesn't count in the first place. Yeah, so again, it's a full circle moment for me here today because I trusted myself back then. I trusted myself in my own values, my own intuition, my divine guidance, and I started to move. And I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I believe that life happens for us, and there is always a reason why you end up in certain places, or why you meet certain people, or why you read certain books, or why you come across certain videos or podcasts, why you follow certain people. And I believe if you're watching this, it's because something in you is asking you to do the same, to come back to this self leadership, to this trust in your inner knowing, your intuition, your inner voice. The woman who decides that she's changing her life right here, right now, and that you're done waiting. And then you give yourself permission to change your life and to go after whatever it is you desire. And if you don't know that yet, you just take the first step where you feel pulled, where you feel drawn, and you trust that one thing leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next. And in 4.5 years or 5 years, you will look back on this journey wondering how it all happened, and you will just be so amazed at how things turned out, because I can promise you one thing, you won't be able to imagine it. And I'm also so excited to see, or for this moment in 5 years when I look back again on this on this moment now, right? What has happened and what changed? Because I'm so sure it's so much better than what I can even imagine, what I can even dream of right now. And it's gonna take so many crazy turns that I'm not able to yeah, even think of right now. And that is so beautiful and it makes you feel so alive. I'm so grateful for this journey. I'm so grateful for having made this decision, for having, kept at it. I kept going. I kept showing up for myself, for my growth, learning step by step, and yeah, for this aliveness and this life that now really feels mine again. And this is just the most beautiful thing that I wish every woman, every person on this planet. All right. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you back here tomorrow and stay tuned. I'll share the link to sign up for the free event very soon.